Hello everyone. 3 to 5 years ago, we were having a meeting in our university regarding the modern teaching pedagogies. At that time, we came up with the idea of virtual classrooms in which the physical presence of a teacher would no longer be required. During that meeting itself, some of the senior professors who came from the old school of thought vehemently opposed the idea, saying that a teacher cannot be done away with. Well, that's true. The point here is that we are not doing away with the teacher, but doing away with the physical presence of the teacher. Nowadays, when everything has become online, teaching should also be taken online, that too during these peculiar times. So here in this video, we are trying to bring out the difference between classroom teaching and online teaching, so that the teachers can make use of some very good tips that I am going to provide in the next 5 to 10 minutes, which will help them to make their next online session a better one. Now, let's go. So there is a fundamental difference between classroom teaching and online teaching. In classroom teaching, traditionally, we will have 40 or 50 students sitting right in front of us, and it can be an interactive session. Whereas in the case of an online teaching, it will be a monologue and not a dialogue or an interactive session. So here, we have to take care of two things. One is the teaching rules that are to be followed in online sessions, and the second part will be the general online etiquette. So let us see some of the basic fundamental rules that are to be followed during this online classroom teaching. So under teaching guidelines, the first and foremost point that should be noted is instructions to the students. So at the beginning of the session itself, you have to give very clear instructions to students. Like for example, what are the things or materials that they may need? Say a noting pad, a pencil, a pen, even a dictionary. In case you are going to solve some arithmetical problems during the session, a CAD sheet would come in handy. Also, if they are going to refer to some reference book, say a design data book or any other book, it has to be told very clearly to the student so that he is having it readily available near him and does not run away from the phone during the session. Next important thing that you have to note is topic selection. Well, of course, you may always think that what is there in topic selection? I can handle any topic. No, it is not like that. Here we have to understand the difference between classroom teaching and online teaching. In classroom teaching, if the topic that you have chosen on that day is a lengthy one, you can always request the next professor who is going to walk in. You can tell him, sir, give me 5 more minutes, let me handle this session, and then complete the class. Whereas it is not so in the case of online teaching. In online teaching, you have to be very clear about the topic so that whatever comes under the topic, you are able to complete that within the 45 minutes or 1 hour session that you have been allotted to. In case you feel that the topic is a lengthy one and may spill over to the next session, then it is advisable that, as I told you, when you are giving instructions to the students at the beginning itself, you can very well tell them that, dear students, this is a lengthy topic, so we will be covering some of that during this session and the rest will be taken over during the next session. The next important thing to be noted is content planning and preparation. We have to understand that as an online teacher, the next 1 hour or 45 minutes, whatever you are going to handle, you will be the only person who is going to talk. So you have to plan your lecture accordingly. Once you have planned your lecture, be well prepared. Whatever be the topic that you are going to discuss on that day, make sure that you are very well versed with it. Also, the materials that you may need, charts, working models, algorithms, programs, whatever that may be required during that session, make sure that you are keeping them handy at reachable places. In case you are going to show them some working models, make sure that the models work so that there is no embarrassment during the session. Also understand that during an online session, the students' parents may also be interested in knowing how the student's teacher is teaching. So they may also peep in and see how we are going to deliver the lecture. One more thing is, remember that nowadays everything is recordable. So the session that you make can be recorded, and make sure that there are no unnecessary bloopers during the online session. This can only be avoided only if you are very well prepared and planned. So make sure that the 45 minutes or 1 hour session is planned accordingly. How much time you are going to allow for introduction, how much time for the walkthrough, and in case we have some demo, working examples or any algorithms or programs that you might have to run, how much time it's going to take. So before the actual session begins itself, it is strongly recommended that you run through the entire session before and do a very good rehearsal so that the entire 1 hour session goes on uninterrupted. The next thing is content delivery. Now we all know that however good a content may be, it becomes effective only it is delivered to the students in a very effective manner. So here the confidence and the body language which you exhibit in front of the camera during the online session plays a very important role. The more confident that you appear, then the more confident the student becomes. He begins to believe in the teacher. The famous saying goes, the teacher is ready when the student is ready. So once the student believes in you, once he gets that confidence in you, once he trusts that, yes, my teacher is going to give me something new, is going to teach me something new in the next 45 minutes, then he is automatically ready for the session. So make sure that you are well versed and very good expert in whatever you are going to talk during the session. Next is your body language. Make sure that your body language exudes confidence so that whatever you are going to say reaches the student in a very confident manner. Make sure that you are comfortable clothes and that you are able to cover the entire session without any hiccups. So talking about confidence, there is a possibility that you may forget some topic during the course of the session. So in case there is a possibility that you think, fine, I am not too good with this, there is a constant glitch somewhere where I am slipping at that point, then it is advisable that you note down that point somewhere where it is easily reachable and accessible, so that as you are going through a session, in case there is a point where you are stuck up, you can very well look at the notes and then continue the session. Now about the completion of the session. In a regular classroom session, what we do is, once the class is completed, we wind up by asking a few questions. So why change it when it comes to online? So at the beginning, when you are giving the instructions to the students, you can always tell the students that there will be an exclusive question answer session towards the end of the schedule. You can tell them that if it's a 1 hour program, you can tell them, so for 45 minutes it will be classroom teaching, and then the last 10 to 15 minutes it will be a separate question and answer session. So during this question and answer session, the students can ask you all the doubts so that he is not disturbing you during the session. And in most of the apps, even in Zoom app, which is the commonly used app for online courses, there is the chat window that is available. So make sure that the window is closed for the 45 minutes or 15 minutes, whichever you are planning to deliver the lecture, so that there are no disturbances. Once you are done with your lecture, then open up the chat window so that the students can start asking you questions through the chat window. The chat window can also be used for asking multiple choice questions. So the last 10 minutes, once you are giving the multiple choice questions to the students, they will be start answering that through your chat window. What else is more fun than bringing in a little bit of competition among the students? So when you are giving the instructions itself, the student knows that at the end of the session there will be a questionnaire session followed by a multiple choice questions, and each one will be eager to know how much he is scoring. And regardless of the score, you can always tell the students, encourage the students by saying that, hey Akash, you got 8 out of 10, hey Ritesh, you got 9 out of 10, hi Priya, you got 8 out of 10, like that. Forget about the real score that they are scoring. But once you tell them a very good score that they have scored, then it becomes a motivation to them. It also helps the other students who have not participated in that become more enthusiastic and start answering the session. This will make the session more interactive, lively, and the students will also be looking forward to your next session. Remember that during online sessions, you can always ask for feedback and do the follow-up. While asking feedback, ensure that while closing the session, you give your email ID. And here one more suggestion that I have here is, you have to create an exclusive new email ID for your online sessions so that it doesn't get mixed up with the normal emails that you may receive. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Be open to criticisms, and that too constructive criticisms, because they help us in keeping us improving day to day. Having discussed about the teaching fundamentals, now let us discuss some of the basic online etiquettes. So once as a teacher you are going to start your online session, make sure that you are dressed in a proper attire. We don't want any wardrobe malfunctions during the session. So make sure that you are in a very presentable manner. The next point to be noted is, be very polite, because online politeness is a very encouraging thing, and this also encourages students to pose questions to you, because he believes that you are more approachable and that the doubts can be asked without any fear. The more you are presentable, the more punctual you should also be. Remember that the world now runs on time, and time is money. So once you fix up a session at 9 AM, make sure that you are in front of the camera at least 2 minutes before. Also, since it's a fixed session, make sure that you monitor your timing accordingly and that you complete your session on time. Be punctual. The next important thing to be noted in handling online session is the location where you are going to do it. Since most of the online session nowadays are handled from home, it is expected that there may be some disturbances, but make sure that you avoid them beforehand. Make sure that there are no unnecessary noises coming from the kitchen like a mixie sound or a grinder sound, or your children walking in during a live session, or your pets begin to bark while you are recording an online session. So make sure that there are no any unnecessary disturbances and that you are left at peace so that you can handle the session uninterruptedly. Also, make sure that you are in flight mode and you are making use of the Wi-Fi so that there are no unnecessary incoming calls while the recording is going on. One more thing is, make sure that your phone or laptop, whatever you are using, is fully charged so that you can discharge your duties peacefully. So, I think whatever points that we have discussed under teaching guidelines, say instructions to students, topic selection, content preparation, content delivery, feedback and follow-up, and the general etiquettes that we have discussed would be handy to you. And I sincerely hope that these things would be of much help to you in preparing better online sessions. Have a nice day. Thank you.